Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of Oxygen Not Included in the Ultimate Base 2.0. In the previous episode we have made a more comfortable and neat looking living module for O2 on the second planetoid. Today we're gonna improve on that, but my main focus at the moment is the FPS. Right now we have quite a few problems, namely 11 FPS is just not enough for me. There are a few things we can do to improve on that, that is collecting materials, bring them to a central location, but also make sure we don't have any gases where they don't need to be. Now that we switch to this living module, we don't necessarily need all of this oxygen out here that has to calculate all the time. So that is definitely one thing I want to do. We also need to make some more progress here on Grow Ista, collecting the materials, bringing them to a central location, but it's not as bad as on Smeliol. Let's see, is there anything else we can do? Oh no! This pool here got exchanged with polluted water again. Yeah, this is not good. I did have some polluted ice melting here probably. Okay, I can see how that goes. Same thing here, this biome isn't as cool anymore. It's still enough to actually cool down the water. So I'm just gonna wait until that's done. Yeah, and also right here we have so much oxygen. It's 3.6 kilograms. That is just way too much. Maybe we can craft some oxolite with that. That would be much more useful. Back to work, I would say O2 only has to build a couple more things, bring over the Atmos suits, then we close off the space, and then we should be golden to initiate the rest. I already got my liquid lock here for the oil wells, so all the gases outside of that we can expel. At the moment we have the oxygen coming in from the first planetoid, but we can of course make use of all the oxygen we still have here, and everything else we're gonna expel into space. No, actually we're gonna bring it to the first base and take care of that. This essentially means I want to continue my oxygen line here, and we're just gonna bring it all the way over. We're gonna connect it to this pipe, which is then going to be output into the main base. Of course, right here we want a pipe gas element sensor, and we want to go ahead and connect it to the vent right away. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit so we can set the sensor right away, and of course it should be set to oxygen, so the oxygen goes into the base, and the rest will hopefully continue. Now this could still result in a problem. If we have overpressurization going on, then it's still gonna continue. But improving the FPS is a little bit more important to me at the moment. This is only really temporary anyways, right? So I think I'm gonna start working on pumping everything out in this spot. We are going to need a bridge for the priorities, so I don't want the oxygen from the first planetoid to have priority. This gas pump right here should have the priority, and then we just take apart this pipe for now. Actually, we can leave it in but disconnect it. I think I might just borrow some power from here. We're gonna leave this power system in place just for a couple more cycles, and then I guess we should be good for now. As for the storages, I want to fill up this storage here with sand. We're gonna have this at a fairly high priority, maybe 6. And the storage bins here at the bottom, I want to fill up with coal. Also priority 6, copy those settings over. And this way we can judge when we have to send over more of these resources. Another problem about the FPS could be my compression system here. We already have 1,400 kilograms per tile. And then obviously one more problem we could have is all the pacus here. As a matter of fact, this might be a huge problem we have. O2, I want you to prioritize a couple of things. I want to finish the railing here and finish the gas pump system. I guess for now, just to be sure that we don't waste anything, I want to prevent the oxygen from the main base to take over. It is really important that we have fewer gases around the planetoid. I had to change a few things with the piping system so that the water actually gets stuck here and is always ready to refill the sink. For some reason it wouldn't work otherwise, and now the excess water is going down, first going to the carbon skimmer, and then there's also a connection between these two pipes so the water can actually get out of there. Here we go. O2 looks pretty happy and relaxed at the moment. Alrighty, we're tuning back in at cycle 1111. I thought I was kind of fitting to resume here. Right now I'm sorting out the last few things. I already have my pipe set up. I realized that I cannot fill up the Atmos suits this way, so I used the fresh oxygen line to do so. And we're now basically making use of as much oxygen as possible, and the rest we're just sending out of the base. O2 was very stressed and he has actually low morale, and one of the reasons for that is because I set up the water sieve in the bathroom. Obviously we cannot do that because the washroom requires no industrial machinery. Now I wonder if we took these 16 tasks, we might be able to fix this easily. A washroom's minimum size is 12 tasks, this would be perfect. We only have to move the water sieve one spot over and then divide this with a wall. I think that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Move the storage bin and the water sieve one spot over. There are just a few things we have to fix in the process. For instance, this liquid bridge can go, and instead we want to replace it with a normal pipe, and the pipes are gonna come from this direction this time around. So we're not gonna need any of these. And then finally we move the bridge one over. Okay, should be good. Moving the water sieve one spot over. Let's actually also take that apart already and take apart the storage bin. Yeah, I'm really sorry, Otto. Didn't realize that for a very long time. But now we can sort it out quite easily. I also brought over the food, so at least that is sorted out, even though we don't have that much anymore. And then, of course, we still have to do these flower pots. I wonder, yeah, the priority is low for these. And look at that, Otto is enjoying himself some jukebox action. That is actually a good sign for the morale. Now, I should be careful here. Yeah, it's still okay-ish with the temperatures, but the cooling loop is something we have to fix in today's episode. Maybe one thing we can already do is get the power out of here, and then at the bottom somewhere I want to set up the steam chamber with aqua tuner. There we go, the gas pump is running again, and we can clearly see some of the polluted oxygen is getting out, or actually all of the polluted oxygen. Sometimes when we already have maximum pressure, of course, the oxygen is wasted as well. Well, not technically wasted, it's going over to the main planetoid. We can also take apart our old food storage, not gonna require that anymore. And Otto actually just took care of the Joya seeds. This is really good. So technically this should now also count as a great haul, giving us even more morale boost. So my assumption is Otto is not going to require the massage table any longer. We'll still keep it in place though, just in case. You know what? I think at this point we have way too much meat. Check this out. 4 million. Wow, this is insane. Yeah, I read this right. We have 7.7 million kilocalories, and 4 of that, or even 5 of that, is meat. So I think what I'm gonna do is copy the settings here. We're gonna eliminate this critter farm, and we'll see if we still produce enough just with the one. So I think at this point I'm actually gonna send over some more barbecue to Otto. He can definitely make good use of it. Looks like Gene is the good soul actually taking care of that job. Wonderful, thank you. And we want to ship it over right away. This needs to happen really quickly so we don't spoil it. And then here on the other side, it's gonna come out being transported over to the safe and secure spot. Okay, I think we should hurry up a little bit with this contraption. So speeding this up. And then I guess right here we want to set up a door right there and a storage bin right here for the sand. Maybe one more thing I would like to see here is a switch so I can turn on the coal generators for a brief moment and fill up these batteries that should serve as a surplus. Finally, at the bottom here, I want to start pumping out all of these liquids, bring them to the first planetoid as well. Maybe we can go ahead and hijack this pipe here. We're just gonna cut this off again, and we're gonna connect it to this pipe over here. That should be good. And the power, I believe I'm just gonna take from here. We're gonna need the cobalt in the future anyways around this region. There we go. The water sieve situation is fixed again. Easy peasy. Whoops, I almost missed shutting this off, but there we go. Full batteries, I like it. I set the storage priorities to 5 again. They were interfering too much with all the other projects. We want Otto to be as efficient as possible and not hop all over the place. This now actually counts as a washroom, makes me really happy. One more thing we want to send over is 1,200 kilograms of steel for our steam room. Where do we have that? Refined? No, it's I think manufactured materials, steel. So we actually have the materials to build an aqua tuner. Okay, looks like we need to send over just a tiny bit more coal for Otto. He's definitely struggling with it. So I was thinking we're gonna fill up both storage bins with 20 tons. That should be enough for quite a few cycles. Alrighty, we progressed a little bit further. I decided to set up a cooling loop already. We can then use that once we have built the steam turbine and the aqua tuner. But for now, I'm just gonna pump out this very cold ethanol and polluted water. I'm gonna run it once through the base before it's actually being expelled to the main planetoid. So all we have to do is connect these pipes, and this one should be built, and then we're pumping this out. It was getting a little bit toasty in here. I decided to actually shut off the batteries But now that we have some cooling in the joint, I think I can enable it again. We're also going to the next step immediately by building a steam turbine here. Yeah, we're gonna do something like this, and then we also want some insulated tiles. Gonna build these out of igneous rock, and this is where we're gonna have our steam room here at the bottom. We still need a way to get in there, as well as creating a liquid lock. So the first thing I want to do is probably wall everything off, get rid of those gases. And I also want to encase this and maybe set up a bottle emptier so we can have a liquid here at the bottom to cool down the steam turbine eventually. We're then gonna build an aqua tuner here out of steel. Gonna place this right there. And we're going to use this conductive wire here in order to power it up. Let's put it through the floor. Actually, that reminds me, the aqua tuner should obviously go one block further down. So let's first tile this out. Also gonna need to deconstruct the ladder to build another bottle emptier to fill this up with its initial layer of water. But there we go, ethanol is going through the base and we should see this cool down. It's not gonna be extremely effective, but it should work until we are ready with the real cooling solution. Here we go, we made one entire loop and now this is being expelled to the main base where we already have prepared a basin in the previous episode. There it is, tagging along. It should ignore the first output, but then here it should be dumped down. Now let me actually see, there's no more water here at the bottom. That is good. Show me what you can do. Ethanol is being expelled. Wonderful. And we're collecting it here at the bottom. By the way, despite the fact we just started with improving things a little bit in terms of FPS, it is vastly better already. We went from 11 FPS in the beginning to around 18 on average. And the more we clean things up, it's only gonna improve as of this point. There we can see this is actually working, base is being cooled down. It's gonna be a little bit chilly for a few cycles, but in my opinion that is always better than too hot. Okay, I think this is more than cold enough, so what I did is reconnected these pipes and therefore the cooling loop is gonna come to a halt. In the meantime, as you can see, we're still building the steam chamber. There we go, we're almost done filling this out. I think it's time to bring in a little bit of water. We just need a tiny little bit to make this work. That should technically be enough. And we need one more tile to make this a true vacuum. No, actually there's a little bit of water left here on this spot. It's hardly visible. Great stuff. With that out of the way, we can take the insides apart again. And this should now all become a vacuum. Easy peasy. I think another thing I want to do is all the polluted dirt and stuff that I'm gathering that can off-gas I want to collect in here. Seems a bit more practical, especially because the water sieve produces it. Okay, I think we're done with the outside. Let's set up a aqua tuner. Gonna do this slightly towards the right. We're gonna need a liquid pipe thermosensor right there. And of course also connect everything. Now, I probably do not want to take lead wire. Let me actually see. No, this can go up to 300 degrees. Yeah, it's no problem. I already have the power nearby, so that is no issue either. What else do we need? Piping. We want to go with insulated piping, igneous rock. And I think we're gonna keep it quite easy for now. Just have a liquid bridge. Let me see, right there, bridging over to the output. And then we're gonna make our way up here. Gonna exchange all of these with the insulated version up to this point. And I guess right here we want to hop over and we can join the loop again. So nothing new really about the aqua tuner design. We need to bridge over at this spot and bridge over right here as well. Some more insulated piping in order to get out of the steam turbine. This would then be going down, so I'm gonna need yet another bridge. Wanna go ahead and separate these, deconstruct that and bridge down. Oh, actually I didn't even need to deconstruct that. Yeah, we don't want to bridge down. Because if I do that, I will exchange heat from the steam room with the steam turbine. But if we go straight down at this point, like so, nothing bad should happen. And last but not least, a liquid vent. Alright, I think that's gonna be good. Let's actually, yeah, let's keep it at that. Yeah, so that seems pretty reasonable. I'm also gonna drop a little bit of water in this place here to cool down the steam turbine eventually. And then maybe if I build another tile here, we can then more effectively push water into the steam room down below. One batch of water already arrived. I think that's gonna be enough for the steam turbine itself. Deconstruct that again. And as you can see, I've already hooked it up to our power grid. Good stuff. Now, I'm not really sure if I also want to drywall up everything with O2, but we might just as well do it. We have a good amount of sandstone we could use, for instance. Nothing else really we can do with it. Alrighty, will you look at this? We're almost done. Just need the sensor in place, and then we also want to collect some more water, fill this up a little bit. I stopped the water pump at this spot because we only have polluted water left, which is perfect to actually fill up the cooling loop. And that's exactly what we're gonna do shortly. Let's build something like this, and then we are gonna bridge over to fill this up. And we want a nice cozy temperature, maybe around 20 degrees. I'm actually might go to 15 degrees. We'll have to see. Since we have no liquid reservoir, we kind of have to find the sweet spot. Gonna set this to 25 degrees, so it's gonna be cooled down to 11. Oh no, R2 already taking another break. Man, the cycles just fly by. But on a good note, we now have a stable 22 frames per second again. I wonder if we can bring this number up to 30, would be great. Look at this, we've already pumped out an immense amount of oxygen here. This was really worth it. Of course it's filling up our main base, but we're still gonna gain frames if the calculations are only crazy on one planetoid. By the way, if you didn't know, all the planetoids of course are loaded at the same time and they are just next to each other. So right here you can actually see a couple of commands that I've given on a different planetoid. We will have around 100 kilograms of water per tile. That would only be 25 kilograms of steam. I think I'm gonna let Otto drop a couple more bottles. Okay, I think after this one we are done. We are actually gonna close this off and then we can actually get things running finally. Eating the whole day. No, I managed to get some sedimentary rock in here. I'm not gonna be satisfied with that. This has to be picked up. Okay, here we go. We're starting to fill up the loop, and since the water is already rather cold, we're just gonna bypass the aqua tuner. What the? No, what? You break me, Otto. And yeah, the polluted water is gonna adapt to the environment's temperature, and then it's gonna be regulated by the aqua tuner. I just want to make sure that at some point I shut it off so we don't have the loop completely filled up with the packets. Okay, now let's be careful. One more. That should be good. Now we want to close this off and remove the bridge. Okay. Yeah, this might just work out. At least the flow is fine. Alright, there we go. We are actually completely done. We can go back to business with Otto, which means collecting materials and bringing them over to the main planetoid. Also, the air outside the living modules has thinned a lot. This is really good news. We can then dig up this volcano still and get the rest of the materials. I guess one more thing we can do at this point is make sure we pump out everything we have here. Let me actually see. We need to connect the pipe again. Yeah, there is the oil output. I want to connect this together so we can pump that to our main planetoid as well. And this way I will be able to get rid of the water at the same time. I just want to make sure that I reset the hydro sensor. One moment, I don't want the oil wells to actually do anything, so I'm gonna shut it off again. On the main planetoid, I want to make sure my oil spot doesn't actually overflow, so just as a temporary measurement, we're gonna connect these together. And I'm also gonna have to bring over the power. Let's do it through the ladder. This way I will be cycling the oil, of course wasting a little bit of power, but as soon as we have reached this level here, the liquid reservoirs are gonna be filled up instead. How is it going with Marie? Okay, she actually made some substantial progress, but we still need to grab a lot of materials. But it might be worth to already send a rocket and actually grab some of the gold amalgam, for instance. But she seems to be doing fine. Maybe we can collect some more water. There is the water that I'm using to cool down the oxygen, so I would like to keep this in place. Yeah, sure. Maybe as a final step for today, let's set up a desalinator. Remove salt from brine and salt water. Sure thing. Now, preferably, I would like to set this up outside of the base in a liquid, since it is going to produce a little bit of heat. So I think what we might want to do is set up a bottle emptier here and then just grab a little bit of the salt water. Sure thing, we can deal with that. We can also take this apart. Should be fine. Technically, we already have a little bit of water here, but we're gonna fill this up with at least one more bottle. Then the salinator goes right here, and I totally forgot, we have to pump this up. Well, that's no problem. We can set up a liquid pump right here, for instance. Get this up with a couple of pipes. Let's see where we have to go over here. So I'm just gonna drag this through the floor, go straight up, and then the normal water can go into this spot. Oh my gosh. Come on, give me something straight. There's some normal water that the desalinator is just gonna ignore, and everything else is salt water, so that should be fine. I want to make sure though. Yeah, just water and salt water. Nice. That should be an easy solution. And then all we have to do is grab a little bit of power to power up that liquid pump. Okay, right now it looks as though we cannot keep up with just one cold generator here on the external part, but I discovered another problem. We're actually not gonna have enough fresh water to take care of the carbon dioxide. I mean, the cold generators are producing a lot of carbon dioxide, and that reminds me, maybe we can get up an auto sweeper if we place this here. Actually, the switch is in the way, but let me test it here on the lower floor. We might be able to successfully automate this. But yeah, we have to make sure to have enough fresh water for the carbon skimmer. The poop doesn't seem to be enough. Anyways, I think that's gonna be enough for the fixes for today. I will still have to babysit the output of the pumps here. And then I think what I'm gonna do is set up a power transformer here so we can take the main power source we have going on and use that to supply the entirety of the world. So we eventually can get rid of this system here. But maybe for now, just to keep things going, I'm gonna hook up a second generator and we can at least get a few things finished. But with that out of the way, let's wrap it up for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great time and see you in the next one. Bye bye.